Welcome to the Case Files Minds of Madness. Tonight, we investigate a disappearance that became a tragedy, a legal saga marked by constitutional error, and a silence that continues to define the agonizing pursuit of closure. We explore the facts, the trials, and the enduring questions surrounding the killing of Lyle and Marie McCann. As always, my name is Cody. I run this channel with my partner Katie. Welcome back to the Case Files Minds of Madness. A reminder, if you do find today's video interesting and informative, be sure to like and subscribe for more stories told by yours truly. Now grab a snack and a blanket and let's dive in. To understand the loss, we must first understand the lives. Lyle Thomas McCann was a man of deep Alberta roots. Born on August 24, 1931, near Red Deer, one of 6 children. His life was defined by the long road. He spent many years as a long-haul truck driver traversing the vast distances of North America. Marie McCann, born Marie Waltz, shared a similar Central Alberta heritage. She was born October 15, 1932, in Torrington, one of 7 children. Their lives converged, and on July 30, 1952, Lyle and Marie were married in Torrington. Their partnership was foundational, a half-century bond of shared history, work, and family. Since 1964, they had made their home in St. Albert, Alberta, raising 3 children and building a life synonymous with stability and family. At the time of their fateful journey in 2010, Lyle was 78 and Marie was 77 years old. They were not fragile travelers. They were experienced, self-reliant seniors setting out on a routine, joyful vacation. The last known movements of Lyle and Marie McCann occurred on July 3, 2010. They were embarking on a road trip from their home in St. Albert, Alberta, destined for Chilliwack in the Canadian province of British Columbia. This was a vacation, a pleasant drive west, culminating in a reunion. They were scheduled to pick up their daughter on July 10th at the Abbotsford International Airport. Their last confirmed sighting was at a superstore gas station in St. Albert. They were fueling their vehicle, a substantial 1999 Gulfstream coach motorhome. They were clearly prepared for the long drive, traveling with their secondary vehicle, a green Hyundai Tucson, towed behind the motorhome. After leaving the gas station, the couple is believed to have set their course onto the Yellowhead Highway, Highway 16, the main artery that cuts across Alberta, heading toward the mountains and British Columbia. It was a routine departure, a peaceful start to what should have been a peaceful trip. But the journey of Lyle and Marie McCann would end violently, only a short distance from home. Only 2 days into their trip, the first sign of disaster appeared, far from their intended destination. In the evening of July 5, 2010, firefighters responded to a remote location near Edson, Alberta, specifically the Minnow Lake campground. The emergency call reported a motorhome engulfed in fire. This was the McCann's 1999 Gulfstream coach. The scene was devastating. The motorhome was charred, a shell of its former self. But the firefighters and the responding police found a chilling fact. No bodies were found inside the burnt wreckage. The police quickly identified the owner of the motorhome as the McCanns. However, when the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the RCMP, visited the McCann's home in St. Albert, they received no answer. Crucially, the green Hyundai Tucson, which had been towed behind the motorhome, was missing. The nature of the discovery, a motorhome burned, its owners missing, and a secondary vehicle gone, immediately suggested a scenario far darker than a simple road accident. The true emergency was confirmed on July 10th. When Lyle and Marie did not arrive at the Abbotsford International Airport to pick up their daughter, Trudy Holder, she immediately notified the RCMP. A missing persons notification was released. The RCMP quickly connected the dots. The missing persons were the owners of the burnt motorhome. Aerial and ground searches were launched along the likely route. The search paid off on July 16th. The RCMP found the McCann's green Hyundai Tucson SUV. It was located near Highway 16 and Range Road 144, approximately 30 kilometers east of Edson, the same general area where the motorhome had been found burning. The discovery of the second vehicle, abandoned but intact, was the final piece of evidence needed to confirm the worst. The RCMP officially announced that the disappearance of Lyle and Marie McCann appeared to be foul play. At the same time, the police provided the public with the name of a person of interest, 38-year-old Travis Edward Vader of no fixed address. The identification of Travis Vader immediately shifted the narrative from a simple missing persons case to a high-profile criminal investigation. The RCMP revealed that Vader had a significant criminal history, painting a clear picture of a desperate individual with a consistent pattern of lawlessness. His history included vehicular theft in 1995, weapons charges, possession of break-in tools, and driving offenses in August 2009, stealing and burning a truck in December 2009, and careless use and unauthorized possession of a firearm as recently as June 2010, just weeks before the McCanns disappeared. This was a man familiar with living outside the law and resorting to theft, violence, and destruction. 3 days after being named, on July 19, 2010, Vader was arrested near Niton Junction, Alberta. Importantly, this arrest was on outstanding warrants entirely unrelated to the McCann disappearance. Despite being in custody, the investigation continued aggressively. Vader's sister, Bobby Jo, revealed that her brother had stayed with her family in Edmonton on July 4th, a day after the McCanns were last seen, and noted he appeared tired, sick, and he needed to rest. On August 31, 2010, while Vader was still being held on the unrelated charges, the RCMP officially announced him as the suspect in the disappearance of Lyle and Marie McCann. The following months were dedicated to searching areas connected to Vader. On September 10th, the RCMP searched a property south of Nojak, Alberta. By September 14th, the search ended, having included a dive team combing a pond, a septic tank, and piles of debris on a property belonging to an acquaintance of Vader. These intensive searches confirmed the police's dreadful focus. They were searching for bodies. Vader remained in legal limbo, repeatedly denied bail. The RCMP were convinced of his involvement, but without the bodies, the path to prosecution was fraught. On July 27, 2011, a court finally issued an order declaring the McCanns to be officially deceased. The RCMP now believed they were killed the day they disappeared. This legal declaration was necessary to proceed. Vader was again denied bail on February 15, 2012. Finally, on April 23, 2012, Travis Vader was officially charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Lyle and Marie McCann, despite the crucial fact that the whereabouts of their bodies were still unknown. The legal path proved anything but straight. On March 13, 2014, the charges of first-degree murder were stayed by the Crown. This move, effectively halting the prosecution due to legal challenges or lack of sufficient evidence at the time, was a shocking reversal. Adding to the complexity, Vader had been convicted of separate offenses, drug trafficking, theft, and weapons, but later had a new trial ordered due to previously undisclosed evidence. On October 8, 2014, Vader was found not guilty of 9 charges unrelated to the McCann case, and he was subsequently released from custody, having been detained for over 4 years. Upon his release, Vader publicly accused the RCMP of having probably destroyed my life, claiming they kept him in custody with no evidence. However, that freedom was short-lived. On December 19, 2014, Travis Vader was rearrested in St. Albert, directly in relation to the deaths of the McCanns, commencing the final legal pursuit. The trial culminated on September 15, 2016. Vader was found not guilty of first-degree murder, but he was found guilty of second-degree murder. This verdict carried a potential parole eligibility of 10 to 25 years. However, the legal world reacted instantly. Legal experts claimed the verdict relied on a law that had been previously ruled unconstitutional, specifically the felony murder section of the Criminal Code. Due to this undeniable legal error, Justice Denny Thomas reversed the original conviction on October 31, 2016. Vader was convicted of the lesser, but still severe, offense of manslaughter. On January 25, 2017, Vader was sentenced to a single term of life in prison with eligibility for parole in 7 years. That 7-year clock ended on December 12, 2024. Travis Vader was denied parole. Crucially, his refusal to reveal the location of the McCann's remains was cited as a primary reason for this denial. The silence that began the tragedy now perpetuates the suffering of the McCann family and ensures his continued imprisonment. The case of Lyle and Marie McCann remains defined by the tragic truth. A conviction secured, a life sentence imposed, but the final heartbreaking wish of the family to bring their loved ones home is still denied by the mind of madness. If you have any information, no matter how small, regarding the whereabouts of Lyle and Marie's bodies, we urge you to contact the authorities. The file is active, and even a small tip could fill in the final gaps of this heartbreaking investigation. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey through the case files. If you appreciate the deep dive into true crime and forensic breakthroughs, please remember to like this video and subscribe to the Case Files Minds of Madness for more examinations of the darkest corners of human nature. Until next time, stay safe and keep questioning the silence. For the Case Files Minds of Madness, I'm your narrator, and we thank you for watching.
Hey there! Before you take off, we'd just like to take a second and say that we really appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video. Katie and I are so grateful for the incredible Case Files community, so thank you for being a part of it. If you want to help the Case Files continue to grow, one of the easiest things you can do is leave a like on this video and consider subscribing. Be sure to hit that notification bell as well and select all notifications to stay up to date with our latest releases. We want you to know that we truly appreciate every like, sub, share, and comment that you send our way. Once again, thanks so much, and we hope to see you soon.